Like to call to order the Planning Board of Mint Hill, March 21st, 2022. Welcome and good evening. At this time, the chair declares a quorum. We will move forward, and chair also recognizes Jennifer for invocation.
Thank you. Dear Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today in attendance of the Mint Hill Planning Board meeting. We invite you to preside over this meeting, even if we have different opinions, to give us unity of spirit. Please help us to each listen politely as others share their points of view. Help us to work as a unified team in combining ideas for a great outcome. Help us to work as a whole rather than as individuals trying to promote our own agendas. And may we have the spirit of cooperation in this room as we work together to make the best decisions that will benefit those who live and work in Mint Hill. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jennifer. First agenda item will be approval of minutes from the February 22nd regular meeting of the Planning Board.
Motion to approve.
Motion stated. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, voting by usual voting sign.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise, appears to carry. Motion carries. Okay, number 4, additions or deletions of the agenda items. John, do we have anything that we need, any changes we need to make? Thank you. Okay, item 5, reports of committees, members, and staff. Anything new to come for us?
Well, I know we spoke about the land use plan, and it does look like this land use plan is going to come to you guys next month for recommendation, and they're going to bring the whole package to you. If you remember, we were going to break it into pieces. Looks like now we're going to try to bring the whole thing to you at one time. I'm going to try to get that information to you hopefully more than a week in advance, so you have time. It's a lot of information, and you're going to be kind of expected to listen to the presentation and make a recommendation that same night. So I'll try to give you the information as soon as I get it. It's actually still in the works.
Okay.
So I haven't even seen the final document yet. So
Oh, my goodness.
so
You haven't
anyway,
seen it yet.
we
Yeah,
so
I was on
hopefully
the
they're
last one, so
hopefully
yeah,
they're going to
it's
hold.
big.
So hopefully April you'll see it at that board meeting.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, John. Any old business to come before the board? Item number 7, new business. We have one item to consider tonight, and that's item A, is discussion and recommendation on ZZ 22-1, filed by Mike Hasisha, a conditional zoning to request a change in zoning from residential to residential CD to allow residential assisted living for seniors for property located at 8025 Wilson Woods Drive, tax parcel 137-07-624. John, is the petitioner here? Please approach the podium and state your name and address, and you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hatisha M. Mike. My address is 6900 Allenbrook Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28215.
My apologies for pronouncing your name
Oh.
backwards and wrong. My apologies.
That's not a problem. I get that all the time because last name is Mike, so they think it's last name first name last.
Well, my apologies
No
for the
worries.
correction.
So, my company acquired the property at 8025 Wilson Woods Drive in May of 2021. At the time that we acquired the property, this is what it looked like with residents still living here, inside and out.
Oh, my goodness.
With some cleaning and some protective measures, this is what the property currently looks like. And this is the home that we intend to build. Now, approval of our rezoning application would allow us to serve up to 10 seniors in upscale residential assisted living. Research tells us that seniors fare far better in residential environments as opposed to big box facilities and nursing homes. And there is an ever-increasing need in our communities for quality senior care. So what kind of services will we provide? The services that we're going to offer are defined by Mint Hill Ordinance, as well as North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. So we'll serve seniors that require some assistance with their activities of daily living. However, they do not require critical care, they do not require memory care, and our seniors do not drive. There are two primary reasons why I believe the property is ideal for our intended use. As you can see from the GIS mapping, the property is over 400 feet away from Wilson Woods Drive and is not visible from the road. Secondly, the fact that we have almost 2.5 acres at our disposal would allow our seniors to be able to enjoy outside activities, outdoor living, and not encroach on the quiet enjoyment of our neighbor's property. I believe in large extent the fact that the property is hidden and it's not visible from the street is why many of our neighbors, and indeed the town itself, didn't know all the trash and the disrepair that the property was in. As you can see, if you compare this site plan to the map that I just showed you, we're going to use the existing footprint of the property. Now, of course, the house will cast a larger shadow because it's a larger house. Currently, the house that's there is 1,500 square feet. We're going to build a house that's over 6,000 square feet. So it will be a larger house, but still using the existing footprint. Where there is currently a partially demolished building on the property, that's where we're going to build storage, and then we'll build a detached garage. We created a website to share information with our neighbors, and we solicited feedback. So here are the most common questions and concerns that we got from our neighbors. So I'd just like to address them. Question: what will this do to my property value? Well, this is a luxury single-family residential home. It is an improved value observably to what is currently there. Question: will there be a lot of traffic and deliveries? No. This is a single-family home with 10 resident seniors. The seniors don't drive, meals are prepared on site, laundry is done on site, so I have no expectation that our deliveries would be any different than a large family. Question: will there be several employees? No, the plan is to have 2 employees on site 24/7. Question: what about visitors? We will have set visiting hour, and remember, once a visitor is on the grounds, vehicles are not visible as the property is not visible from the road. Now, in conversations around the neighborhood, I discovered that there were perhaps as many as 9 residents in the house at one time. And we're talking about 1,500 square feet, but 1,245 heated square feet that perhaps had 9 people. And I found no record of any complaints about traffic, too many cars, noise. So if I compare that to what I assume was 9 active residents to 10 seniors that don't drive, I don't expect that we would have any different outcome. And finally, one of our neighbors wanted to know, if your rezoning is approved, what qualifies you to shepherd this project successfully? I believe that's a fair question. So let's first address my property experience, being able to manage the construction of the house. I've been a licensed real estate broker in the Carolinas for over 20 years. During that time, I've managed both properties for individual landlords and subdivisions for homeowners associations. I've also managed budgets for property restorations and renovations. Now to the most important, to me at least, is my experience serving seniors. I owned and provided the daily management for a home care agency in Charlotte for 8 years, and we focused primarily on senior care. I've been trained and certified in services for the aging for over 10 years. And I have personal experience in serving seniors in residential settings for over 20 years. Thank you so much for your time, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Mike. If you would maintain just a minute at the podium, because for questions, and we'll start with Kenny.
I guess, I think you've done a pretty good job of outlining all the characteristics. The one I had was about the medical care, to what extent of assisted living it is.
Okay. By Mint Hill definition of assisted living, as well as North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, for our category of home, personal care services are handled by outside agencies. So each resident would be able to choose whoever they want to do their personal care services. We are simply required to have a contract with a licensed agency that would do those services. However, we would not employ directly the people that would do those services. And those services are as it relates to activities of daily living, ambulating, getting out of the bed, help with showering, help with getting dressed. But again, no memory care, no critical care.
Okay. That's really all I have.
Okay. Scott?
A question I have is pertaining to access to the site. It appears that coming down the drive that there's a very narrow area with it turns, and it looks like it's going to be very difficult to get emergency vehicles or first responders to the site through that turn to be able to get through the two fenced-in areas that line the road.
Oh, okay, I was waiting for the
That's my
question.
statement or question.
Okay, to answer your question or address your statement, the average, and I called to verify this, the average fire truck and ambulance is between 7.5 and 8 feet wide. The road at its narrowest is 12 feet wide, and at the turn, it's 15 feet wide. So it is wide enough to accommodate emergency service vehicles.
So the width is, but is it wide enough to accommodate the turn that requires a longer, a ladder truck, if you will, that needs to get to the property?
Well,
Which is
yes,
significantly longer than, width-wise, it's probably okay, but I'm more concerned with the vehicle coming in and having to turn without getting into the fence to get the turn done.
again, at the turn is where it's 15 feet. It's 12 feet, the road, the turn is 15 feet. And since it's a deeded easement, I imagine that's why it's 15 feet at the turn.
At the turn.
Excuse me 1 minute, Ms. Mike. John, you have something you'd like to add on this?
Yeah,
On Scott's question?
and that's a great question, and that is something we've been looking into, and we have asked the fire chief to go out to the site and give his recommendation on this. And he confirmed, as far as ambulance service goes, he said there's no problem whatsoever. Okay, he can get an ambulance back there. The concern was a fire truck. But now he did go out to the site, and we were actually going to do a test run. It didn't work out today. But anyway, he has confirmed to me that the fire truck can get back to the house. It will be a tight fit, though. But he said it can get back there. So that's what we needed to know to make sure we're not setting up a situation where there's absolutely no way a fire truck could get back there. But he did confirm it can get back there. It's just a tight fit.
Okay, the only other question I had is the facility going to be sprinkled, fire sprinkler?
Yes,
It will be.
yes.
That's all I have.
Jennifer?
Yes, I do have a question. In the Board of Commissioners meeting, I know there was some concern that there would be a lot of traffic with possibly like Uber drivers or people coming to visit or service providers coming and going. Do you have a vehicle that transports residents, or how does the normal, I guess, day look like as far as people coming and going and residents getting from point A to point B? Is that something that you take care of, or how is that handled?
Okay, thank you for your question. As to who will be there 24/7, as I said in the presentation, 2 employees. That's it. When residents need to go on, shopping, going out, we will have a vehicle that transports residents. We'll have a resident van. We'll actually have two of them that transports the residents.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
That all? Okay. I would just have, Chair would just have a couple questions. What's the difference in this and our group home designation? I mean, because I do understand that a group home, you could do that without needing rezoning. And I was just curious, what is the difference between your proposal here and what the standard group home requirements or specifications are?
Okay, as far as a group home, I don't really know what a group home requirement is because I'm not interested in doing a group home. But if you mean family home where you can do 6 residents without rezoning, that's defined
Right, that's
as a,
what I'm
okay, that's a family home. A family home allows you to do 6 residents, and I'm interested in doing 10. We're going to build a new structure, a brand-new home, and I think that with the need that we have in our communities to serve seniors in quality care, and that this is going to be an upscale facility, I think we have a responsibility to serve as many as we can without compromising the level of care.
Thank you. Is, now, is the certification process through the state the same as like a 6-person family home?
No, it's different. The state requires that we are registered with them. They require that we build to commercial standard, that, you have your doors and everything for seniors. And again, we have to register, and they have to look at our policies and procedures. We have to do that every year.
I know you shared your experience. Is this particular project your personal project? I mean, is this your company?
Yes.
Because I
it
know
is.
you said you have done it for other places too. You've managed other companies, but this one is for your own personal company?
Right, this project is my company. As a real estate professional, I did those things managing for my clients. This is my company, yes.
All right, that was my questions. Kenny, anything further?
No, sir.
Scott?
No.
Jennifer?
Well, just to your comments earlier, I did do a little bit of research, and we do already have several of the, I guess, family homes, and I know we were questioning the definition and what qualifies as one versus the other. So we already have this type of, or these types of facilities in Mint Hill, and this seems to be more of a hybrid in between the larger facility and that smaller home facility, which I think, would make a good neighbor, but that's just my opinion, so.
Okay, Jennifer, thank you. I would just have one more. What do you anticipate when, just like you say, when go back to the traffic issue, what in your estimation would be if you have 10 residents and they each have in-service care of some sort with some company, whether it's ambulatory care or transfer care, therapy, whatever it is, what would you estimate the amount of that, or how often, or the amount of vehicles, or, coming and going for that type of thing?
Well, as I said, we are required by the state to have a contract with a licensed agency. So if you have 10 people and we have a contract with a licensed agency, you need 2 service providers to be able to serve 10 people.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Ms. Mike. You have any further questions for the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. John?
Sir.
Any Ps and Qs here as far as the town, any dots and Ts, anything that you need to share with us as far as we see your recommendation, but is there anything further that you need to add at this point?
No, I think, and I provided a sample motion there for that consistency statement. I think one maybe point you could highlight is her voluntarily limiting this to 10 senior residents, and understanding that if this is approved, this conditional zoning is approved. Now, this has been a question out in the community. If this is approved as proposed, it is limited to exactly what she is asking for. So it would be a facility for, or residence for 10 seniors, period. So if she wanted to grow the business, if more residents wanted to come in, she would have to go back through a process. If she went out of business or someone bought it and they wanted to utilize it for some other services, again, if it's not 10 seniors, they would have to go back through a process. So I just want to make sure that was clear. So I think the limitation of the 10 seniors.
Okay. All right. Thank you, John. Well, Chair would open the floor for motions.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Well, if you're going to do that, you'll need to.
Yep.
Motion will be-
A motion to approve CZ 22-1 is found to be reasonable in the public interest based on the information presented to the planning board and in review of this petition with particular and proposed limits of no more than 10 senior residents
Favorable recommendation.
as a favorable recommendation, excuse me.
Motion made, and I did hear a second.
I'll second it, yeah.
Any further questions? If not, we will vote by the usual voting sign. All in favor, by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. Motion appears to carry. The motion has carried. Okay, any other business to come before the planning board tonight, John, other than the
No, sir.
dropping a bomb of the land use plan will come next month?
I'll be next month.
What, it'll be this thick?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a
well,
lot of
if that's all the business, then the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.